Good evening, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to the Angry Hacks podcast. We are back. It's been 2 weeks to the day, but we are back. A little holiday layover, just a little rest, recuperation, but we are back to talk some sports. We got a lot to talk about. The Giants, we're putting a bow on that team. The Packers, we're putting a bow on that team. Some new GMs coming through, some new coaches. We're going to talk Marvin Lewis, Carson Palmer, Johnny Gruden, Little Rangers Winter Classic, mostly football. And then we'll give you our playoff picks as well. Let me introduce my boys. Michael Hall, how we doing this evening?
Good, Ryan. And I flipped back in my notes back to our season preview and just to see how many playoff teams I got right.
How'd you do?
And I didn't do so good. Terrible, in fact.
Wow. Well, yeah, I mean, much expected as we talked about this whole weird it's been and how crazy and unpredictable it's been. Ryan Stanley, how we doing, man?
Doing all right, man. Doing okay. I miss you guys. I'm ready to get this show on the road.
We're back.
Yeah, we're back. It's been a little while, but much needed rest. We have a new and improved podcast. It's a new year. It's a new us. Let's kick it off with our Giants because, like I said, we're going to put a bow on this team. We've talked about them all season, but since we've last come on, this team has a new GM. Right? It's Dave Gettleman. He used to be in the organization. So it's a friendly guy. But what I want to really first talk about is this guy just from his interview. He seems like he means some business right now. And it pretty much started right away, man. Right when he got in, he's starting to clean house already. Our boy, Bobby Hart, goodbye.
Yep.
Take a hike. Go find McAdoo. He's gone, and I love it. And also got rid of another guy. I think a VP of whatever. Do you know what guy that was? I don't even remember who it was, but
yeah,
some guy that wasn't cutting it.
I gotta say, I love that he didn't wait to cut Bobby Hart till after Week 17. He's like, you know what? Screw it. He's not playing the last game of the year. He's not giving us anything anyway. I'd rather play Joe Schmo off the street than Bobby Hart. And after he got cut, I didn't remember this, but do you remember at the beginning of the season, Bobby Hart claimed he was the best guy in the league, like the best lineman in the league or something?
No, he didn't.
He did. And
he said that?
Yeah, at the beginning of the year. And I all these guys that said they cut him. That was the first thing they said, that Bobby Hart claimed himself to be the best O-lineman in the league or something like that before the season started. Is it a joke?
That is a joke.
You mentioned go find McAdoo. Well, did you hear where he might find freaking McAdoo?
Oh, tell us.
McAdoo, apparently, through sources say that he is looking to be the quarterback's coach for the Denver Broncos. Yeah, good luck with that, asshole.
Hey, better them than us.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, that's bad, man. The whole Bobby Hart thing. Oh my God, I never heard of that. Well, apparently he's a big complainer in the locker room and throwing people under the bus, players, coaches. So Gettleman just had enough of him.
You hear about Snacks almost beating the shit out of him that one day?
Yes. Yep. That too.
Yeah, Bobby,
which I wish happened.
Real smart guy. Let's call out Snacks Harrison. Yeah.
Get the hell out of here. He's cut. Right. He's gone. Peace out. You'll never wear a Giants jersey again. Goodbye. But you know what?
Yeah.
No, you know what though, Rye? I just, I mean, we don't know yet. Obviously, Gettleman just got here, but I like his attitude, man. He's just it's no bullshit, basically. It's no bullshit. He's cleansing the locker room, which needs a cleanse. It really does. It needs a colon cleanse.
It feels good. It feels good.
It does. You got to get the disease out of there. And one guy I'm talking about, Eli Apple, he's got to go. I'm done.
That's what I was going to say next. I think he is going to be gone. And the fact that he was the 10th pick in the draft 2 years ago and he's going to be gone, it says a lot. Like Landon Collins calling him a cancer, all this business. This guy's in the news every day for the wrong reasons. Go out there and defend the guy a little bit. I think just like some of the Giants did. I think some of them tried to defend him at first, and then it was just like, no, I'm out here defending you, and you're making yourself more of a fool by doing more stupid shit. And they got fed up, and I'm fed up with it. And I think Gettleman's going to be fed up with that, and he's going to, he could go find McAdoo as well. Go have fun in Denver.
Yeah, they can go hang out together. And you know what, Rye, about Eli Apple? I'm glad I'm so on the same page with you. You know what? I don't care about the personal issues at this point. I don't care. Everyone has personal issues. I have personal issues. You guys have personal issues. I don't give a shit. This is business. This is a business, and we're here to win games. And when you cause a disruption in that locker room, that makes us lose games because everybody's all over the place and the team can't perform the way it needs to perform. So I don't care about his personal crap. I don't. Leave it at home. Don't bring it to the locker room because obviously he did, and a lot of the players and some of the coaches did not like his attitude, and he ruined a lot of what was going on in that organization. So get the hell out of here. I don't care about your issues. We all have them. We all have them.
He burnt a lot of bridges, and the bridges aren't going to be repaired anytime soon.
Yeah. So, I mean, to sum up Gettleman right now, as of now, we don't know too much about him yet, but I like him already. I like him already because of what he's done so far, which is, doesn't seem like much, but for a team that had locker room issues, it means a great deal.
Kind of feels like he got a little Parcells in him, like no nonsense, which you have to like because there's been too much nonsense. Yeah, the Bobby Hart thing is funny. I didn't even know he was. So you had two cancers in the locker room essentially.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know about that Snacks Harrison Bobby Hart thing until I just read about it a few minutes ago. But I mean, Apple, at first we weren't sure what to think about him, what was going on. But like you guys said, like it's gotten so bad, it just doesn't matter anymore. He's been a complete malcontent, a complete jackass. And you know what? Did you guys hear about that one scout? This is before the draft 2 years ago. And I want to read this short little scouting report on Apple. And it really, it's almost like gives you goosebumps. He nails it on the head. Listen to this. Anonymous scout. He says, I worry about him because of the off-field issues. Okay, that's how it starts. He goes, the kid has no life skills at all. Can't even cook. He's just a baby. He's not first round for me. He scares me to death.
Can't cook.
Can't cook. It's fun. Yeah, it's funny, but I think he was just driving home a point of this kid is just like can't fend for himself at all.
Yep.
At all. Zero life skills, zero, I guess lacks a ton of social skills. And guess what? In about 2 years, less than 2 years, we saw all of it.
Yeah. And you know what? With Apple being on that diseased radar of ours the last couple of weeks, and we knew he was a problem in the locker room, and now hearing about this Bobby Hart thing, he's been a problem the whole. I mean, who's to say there aren't anybody else? There could be, and Gettleman's going to get to the bottom of this and getting rid of these guys, and he needs to.
Yeah.
You know what? I hate to keep using the cancer metaphor, and gets thrown around a little too lightly, but it spreads, right? If stuff like that spreads, and it can spread quickly. So
and
you're right.
Especially when you're losing games.
You're right. Everything comes out. All the warts show when you're losing. So one guy turns into 10, 11, 12 guys pretty quickly. So you hope Gettleman gets to the bottom of this because he seems like the kind of guy to weed out all this shit.
Exactly. But you know what? I watched that game on Sunday, and they played a very good game. They really did. They were able to stifle Kirk Cousins, who really had a good offensive year. And I know it was freezing cold, but Cousins can do anything. The defense was really good. The pass rush was there. They just looked fast on the field. It was refreshing. And I know it really wasn't for anything, but I mean, we only let up 10 points. It was really refreshing to see our defense go out there and put a performance up at home in the last game of the season. Don't you think, Rye?
Yeah, I definitely think. And I just wanted to say one more thing about Gettleman. What he said today was about offensive line. Like, you don't need to build your offensive line through the free agency. I'm going to go out there and study videotape and find guys that aren't stars yet, like a Sean O'Hara, and become a star. And Sean O'Hara's response in tweet is like, I thought I was pretty good.
I was good from day one.
And I love that attitude. You know what? He's like, I'm going to dissect videotape. Well, you know what? Go out there and do it, and good luck. But yes, I love the effort we gave this week. We won. We still have the number 2 pick. You couldn't get any better. You beat the Redskins, and shame on them. I hate that team. So, win is always a good win.
Yeah. And, dude, we ran the ball great. We did. Both running backs.
Yeah, did you see the bonus that Darkwa got?
I told you that. I saw that. It was amazing, dude. By 1 yard.
Yeah,
these guys know.
I love it.
It's so great, but
these guys know.
Yeah, that's an awesome thing, and yeah, they played really well. And actually, the offensive line was good too. It was a crazy looking offensive line too. They had the Giants had the most offensive line combinations out of any team this whole year, among other things. Most guys on the IR too. It was a mess of a season, but it came to an end on Sunday, but it was a good, solid win. And yes, right, like you said, since the Colts won too, we still got the second pick in the draft. So
number 2.
So with that second pick in the draft, Rye, what do we do here? I've been racking my brain the last couple of days about this. I'm so torn.
I know. I'm trying not to read too much about it because I'm really unsure myself with what I want. I'll tell you one thing I don't want, and that is Sam Darnold. I do not want him. And that's who I worry. That's who I fear is going to be there. And I like Rosen more. But I'm not super high on him. Like I'm higher on him, but I don't think he's the number 1 or number 2 pick in the draft type of guy. I don't know.
It's difficult. I understand what you're saying with Darnold. He's a turnover machine. He was a turnover machine this year, and I mean nothing against Eli, but Eli turned the ball over a lot, and I don't want to see that again. They project Rosen as the better NFL quarterback, but I don't know what I'm reading, man. I don't like. Apparently, he doesn't have a great attitude towards football. He's not in love with the game, and that scares me.
Yeah, and he's a very outspoken kid. He speaks his mind, and I mean, not like he really gets in a lot of trouble off the field, but like you say, Nuns, that's a big question mark with him. Is kind of the attitude, and for a team that's dealt with a lot of that shit. Very recently, that's something you got to worry about, especially that position, a big leadership type position.
Yeah,
well, that's something you always have to worry about, though, with these guys. But you also have to take all that stuff with a grain of salt because we really don't know.
Sure.
Like, as a Celtics fan, Paul Pierce back in the day when he was, getting drafted that year, that draft class, he was supposed to be top 3. And all of a sudden, draft night, he just starts falling. And it was part of that reason. Doesn't love the game of basketball that much. Maybe his work ethic isn't so great. And he falls to us at number 10. And oh my God, is that the greatest draft pick ever? Like,
the rest is history.
You just never know. And it's tough because this is why I don't want to beat myself up over about this stuff because you hear so much different things. Like, I could read that Rosen can't cook like Eli Apple. And then I'm going to start thinking that shit.
He can't clean.
Can't dust.
He can't dust. He can't vacuum. Rye, I understand. I understand. It's our emotions are so out of whack right now because this is the number 2 pick. You can't mess this up. You can't. You can't mess this up. You can't draft a Jamarcus Russell. You can't do it.
No.
You can't do it. And especially an organization that we're in dire need of a few key positions on the field. You need to get this right. You need to get this right. And yes, do we need a quarterback of the future? Absolutely. Do I want Eli back? Absolutely. Let's talk about Eli Manning for a little bit, Rye, because I know how you feel about him. I'm the same way. I love the guy. I love what he's done for this city, this team, this organization. He is, like you've said many a time, he is in the good book forever. As a Giant fan, he's in the good book for winning 2 Super Bowls, 2 Super Bowl MVPs. He's in the good book, and he's making $22 million a year. This bothers me a little, and I'm going to say it only because I think, and you can go against me on this one, but I've been thinking about this and I've been listening and reading some things. I feel like if he really was devoted to this team, because he said he wants to be back, he wants to play for this team, restructure your contract. So you make a little bit less money. I mean, come on, the guy makes a ton of money anyway. He's in a ton of commercials, and I mean, he's an athlete. He makes a lot of money. And try to shore up some money where we can spend on some key positions. And what I'm talking about is offensive line the most, because that's what we need. And the draft is not giving us enough in the spot we're at, unless, Mike, like you said, if you want to trade down. What do you feel about this, Ryan? I know I'm kind of maybe going over the edge a little bit with this. What do you feel about him restructuring, or even if he would even do it?
Well, I think Eli's always put the team first. And if you pitched him the right way, like, hey, listen, let's restructure this deal. We'll get you your money somehow. You'll get the money somehow. Structure it so maybe you'll get like a Bobby Bonilla deal. I don't think they'll get screwed by a Bernie Madoff or something to F that up, but you give him like a Bobby Bonilla Mets type of deal, just something.
Like incentive laden or something like that too?
Whatever. I don't care if it's under the table type of deal, like, whatever. And then I think he'll
like an HJ.
And you just say, hey, we're going to get the offensive line to protect you, to keep you healthy. And I think you pitch it that way, you get him the money some other way, and I think he'll be all game. He's restructured his contract in the past for us.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why I bring it up too. Now, at 20, making $22 million for the next 2 years, is he a $22 million quarterback, Mike? Right now.
No, I think if he was being totally honest with someone, he'd probably agree. But he's got 2 years left, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he got 22, and then I'm seeing 23 next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you could restructure it. I mean, I don't know how much you could save by restructuring a deal with only 2 years left on it.
It's a short span.
I'm not, I'm no expert in that, but because I know the Giants, they're right at the tip of the cap.
Yep.
They spent a lot of money last year, good money, but they don't have much cash to spend. I don't know how many pennies they can squeeze out if it would make much of a difference.
Right. I don't. It was just something that I was kind of reading because a writer had mentioned it, and I'm kind of agreeing in a way, because you look at that number, that's a big number. And that 22 million, I mean, he's hanging on those Super Bowls. That number is hanging from those Super Bowls. It really is. And right now at this juncture of his career, he's not a $22 million quarterback. So no. I don't know. It's a weird thing to ask the guy to do. And like you said, it's a short span, only 2 more years. Like, what can you really do? I'm no expert either. But if there's a way to do it, and I think he is the guy that would do it, especially him being outspoken, saying he wants to be with the Giants and nobody else. So it's really interesting to see if something like that comes to fruition. I don't know.
The way to do it, I think, would be to like cut him and re-sign him to a different contract, and then somehow give him that money under the rug.
Well, yeah, I mean, if they cut him, They, instead of owing him the remaining about $45 million, they would owe him about 18.5 in dead cap money that he would be owed. So yeah, you could kind of give him that and then restructure something so you're still saving money in the long run. I guess you could. We've seen it before. The teams cut guys and sign them the next day. So, I guess they could.
Yeah, it is. You got this team. Oh, man, I'm telling you, a lot of talent on the at like key spots on the field. Correct? They still have a lot of talent.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I mean, you got two Pro Bowl defensive backs in Landon Collins and Janoris Jenkins. Still, you've got two Pro Bowl caliber. Who, by the way, both of them played awesome on Sunday. You have Odell Beckham, obviously one of the better players, athletes in the league. I mean, you got the talent there. You got the talent there. It's just, like you said, Mike, I mean, they spent all that money last year, but I mean, it paid dividends last year. They don't have much left to really spend in free agency. That's why this damn draft is very important. This number 2 pick is so important. We cannot mess this up.
Well,
I don't know what to do with this.
Well, I think, do you trade the pick? Here's why I would. Because we talked about Darnold, we talked about Rosen, and one guy we haven't talked about yet tonight is, of course, Saquon, the running back, who, and the kid looks like an absolute game changer. Barkley looks really good. So, but if you trade out of 2, I mean, the haul you would get in return, I mean, you would get so much back for a team moving up to 2 that it's almost worth doing.
I'm all for it if we can keep a first round pick for this year. Obviously I think they'd have to do that.
Yeah, you'd swap.
You'd swap, and then you'd get maybe another first rounder from next year, or
oh yeah, I think you would.
A bunch of other picks. Like, I'm for it if they have a plan. Like, if there's guys that they like, kind of like the Celtics this year with I'm referencing them again. Like, they had the number 1 pick, and everyone in the world would say they're going to go Fultz. They're going to go Fultz. They didn't like Fultz. They liked Tatum more, and after watching this season play out, I think they definitely wanted to go Tatum number 1 over Fultz, and they never let anybody know. So they traded the pick and got Tatum at the 3rd pick, and they got another first-round pick. I mean, that's huge, and Tatum ends up being better. So if there's a guy that we like, that we think will definitely be there a few picks later, and that's tough, but definitely be there, then you do it.
Yeah, and you know what else it does? If you trade the number 2 pick to someone who, a lot of teams need a quarterback. I don't know the order, but say someone who's drafting in the teens somewhere, to move up to 2, the Giants will get probably 6 or 7 picks in return. I would think they're going to swap obviously the 1. They're going to get an additional 1 probably next year. They're going to probably get 2 2s, maybe 2 4s. It's going to be a boatload. And what you can do with those is use them as chips if you want to move back into the first round towards the back end. If you're targeting a guy there, it gives you chips to play with right away. So
I love the chips. I love the idea of trade chips.
Picks. I'm a big fan of picks. The Browns do it all the time. They just suck at it. But listen, because you hit in the draft and you miss. So you just want as many swings as you can get, right? So I think it makes a lot of sense.
It really is a good proposition. I mean, I'm looking at this draft order right now, what we have. I see at number 5, you got Denver. You got at 6, the Jets. You got, let's see, I'm moving down a little bit. I mean, you would think San Francisco's going to.
They're set.
They're going to be set with Jimmy. You have, let's see, 9 is, well, no, that's not. Oh, okay. After that, you have the Dolphins. I mean, who the hell knows about Tannehill? He just keeps getting hurt.
Yeah, he's not that good.
Never know. Let's see. Redskins, because we don't know if Cousins is coming back there.
They never want to pay him, so.
Cardinals at 15.
Yes, Drew Stanton sucks.
You got the Chargers, and Rivers getting up there. He doesn't have much left, I don't know.
Yeah.
Drafting a QB. I mean, so like you said, Mike, there's going to be a lot of teams that need quarterbacks. I mean, the Bills are going to need one.
Right.
There's going to be a ton.
Listen, every year teams are looking, and they will make big moves. And even a team moving up from like 5 or 6, like you said, Denver and whoever else, that's going to take a lot. And you make them pay a lot. You have to. If you're the Giants, you absolutely rake these teams over the coals.
Mm-hmm. That's a premier spot.
And if you don't get the deal you're really looking for, you don't panic. You take the best player on your board and you move on. But it's a really good spot to be in, and we'll see what they do.
Well, let's say you're looking at the Cardinals at 15, who, they definitely need a quarterback. And you're looking at that, and then you're sitting at the 15 spot, plus among other picks that you get. At 15, Ryan Stanley, do you draft Baker Mayfield if he's still there?
I think that's way too early, but I wouldn't mind drafting a guy like that later in the draft.
He might not last that long.
You really think he's going to go that quick?
You never know. I mean, you don't know. You don't know what some of these teams, what they think of him. You can honestly. I mean, somebody can honestly look at him like somebody in the top five. Let's say Denver. They can honestly look at him as the number 1 quarterback in the draft. You never know. We don't know. So what? They might take him. Who the hell knows? I mean, I don't really need to say what I think of the guy and what I think he can be in the NFL because I've said it already. But at 15, I like that spot. I don't know. Some people are saying at 17 the Chargers might grab him.
Well, listen, if the Giants, if that's the Giants guy, then I think then why not? I mean you trade the pick away, you get a boatload in return, and you still get a quarterback you like. I mean, you got to love that.
I mean, if it is their guy, I'm for it. Like if that's the guy they're looking at, and they're like, you know what, this is the guy that we have number 1. We think he's better than Rosen and Darnold. They're better talent evaluators than we are. If they like that, then I am for it. And now that gets me juicy because I'm thinking 15th pick, we trade down from 2 to like 6, and then we trade down 6 to 15 and get him at 15. That gets me all excited.
Yeah, now you're talking close to 8 or 9 picks, right?
Yeah, and let's say they do that at 15, right? And at 15 they go another route. Maybe there's like one of the good offensive linemen's there, and they want to grab him. That's their guy. So the Giants grab him at 15, whatever offensive lineman you want, the Notre Dame guys, Orlando Brown, one of those guys, whatever. So they grab him then, and then we have that 34th pick, the second round pick. And if Baker Mayfield's still there, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better spot.
Yeah, you'd love that.
Oh, my God. I mean, I don't think that's going to happen. I really don't. But that would be awesome. You get an offensive lineman plus Baker in the second round. Oh.
And like we said, trading down gives you chips. And if you're hearing things that Mayfield won't last to 34, you want to sneak back into the first round, you'll have the chips to do it.
Chocolate chips, Mike.
Chocolate semi-sweet chocolate morsels. You'll have a pocket full of chocolate chip morsels, and you can really start manipulating things and have a really good draft.
It's juicy. We're talking about trading now, and I'm liking the idea, but they got to do it the right way.
Right.
They have to find the right trading partner. Which, you know what, we know, and they're already talking about this.
Oh yeah,
they've got all the options on the table. They may be sitting there right now talking about it.
They probably are.
Rye, any final thoughts on this Giants season? Because we're gonna wrap them up right here.
Happy it's over.
Yeah, worst season ever I've ever watched as a New York Football Giant fan. Worst season ever. There's no comparison because never lost 13 games before. So there you go, Mike. Packers,
Yeah.
they got to make a couple moves too in the front office.
This has been the weird offseason. The first time since my early 20s that they're not in the playoffs. And for someone who doesn't know, it's a long time. And one of the busiest off seasons I've ever seen the Packers have. I mean, and all good. Some surprising, but all in all stuff I like. I mean, re-sign Devontae Adams, check. Re-sign center Corey Linsley, check. Fire Dom Capers, infinity checks.
Oh, that you love that one.
I mean, I thank the Lord, baby Jesus. Really, you can finally see it coming. I'll give Dom's eulogy here. I think Dom Capers is a fine football coach. I really do, but it just wasn't a good fit for the last 4 or 5 years, and that's how long the madness just lasted. And long overdue, but goodbye. Couple position coaches went with him. Mike Turgovac, who's a very good coach. He's our defensive line coach. Probably one of the strongest position groups on our team. He was let go. He's going to get a job. He probably already has one. He's that good. I don't know if he lands somewhere as a position coach again, which obviously wouldn't be a big splash. You probably wouldn't hear about it. But if there are teams who are looking for defensive coordinators outside of us, I wouldn't be surprised to hear that guy's name involved, and I wouldn't be surprised if he got hired. Inside linebacker coach too, Scott McCurley, whatever. And then Ted Thompson, the GM, which I like Ted Thompson. I know a lot of Packer fans that I chat with, they want to see everyone's head roll. McCarthy, Capers, Thompson. I defend Thompson to the death. I think he's put a lot of talent on this roster while always keeping our salary cap healthy, which isn't easy to do. But, now he's staying in the organization, so I don't know if this came from him. I'm kind of hoping it did. I'm kind of hoping this isn't a Mark Murphy, letting Thompson go of his duties. And I have a feeling that's kind of the way this is going. Thompson might have said something like, I'll take a lesser role. He's going to be like senior VP of football operations. So he's basically a general manager who doesn't make phone calls. So he's still going to be very much involved, but surprising. I mean, that was that was kind of a bombshell to me. So a lot of shit going on. McCarthy extended today. They tacked on one more year to his contract, so he signed through next season, being, the season after next, through 2019, which, fine, okay. I always like Mike McCarthy. Needs to learn how to win a game without Aaron Rodgers, but hopefully he doesn't have to deal with that anymore. So, yeah, I mean, the GM search begins for the Packers, defensive coordinator search. So we'll see. I mean, a name I think internally you'll hear is Joe Witt, who's our cornerbacks coach. Fine young coach who may get a shot. But I think for the Packers to really kind of shake things up, they got to go outside the organization for a fresh perspective. Because any positional coach, he's his own. Joe Witt's his own man. He's his own personality, but he's worked for Tom Capers here. So how much different would you get? That's what I would worry about. So if they go outside the organization, I mean, the name you're hearing a lot is Vic Fangio, who's currently, was the Bears defensive coordinator. Very simple but aggressive defense, usually with him. Coaches a 3-4. Likes to play a lot of man behind not too much pressure. Would rush 4 or 5 guys and play a lot of man behind. It's simple. I think he's a guy that would be a good fit, but it's going to be not Dom Capers. That's who it's going to be. So me and many Packer fans are pretty excited about it. As for the game Sunday, they sucked. They were absolutely fucking horrible. They start the game with an onside kick, get it. Actually got me a little revved up. Like, I wasn't even going to really watch the game. I didn't care, but I'm like, holy shit, look at this. And let's just go out and play like shit for the next 59 minutes and 59 seconds. So it was a fitting end to the season. Really put the final nail in Dom's coffin. How bad the defense was again against Matthew Stafford. So, weird season. But the offseason, for an offseason that started much earlier than most, it's been very active. And I have to say, it's been so far so good.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, you're not used to this, but you know what? Sometimes you need that change, and not making the playoffs. I mean, obviously a big reason was you didn't have your star quarterback most of the season.
Yes.
But you know what? Making that fresh defensive start, I think is the way to go now.
I think what happened is everyone's known it for a long time, but we haven't really seen it this up close and personal and have it hurt the team so much. And it is Aaron Rodgers covers up a lot of bad stuff.
Yeah.
There are a lot of warts that he can cover up. He's like a really good makeup. And the Packers, to be honest, you know what? The Packers, they've been like an ugly girl. And Rodgers is like a really good makeup. That can make the girl, look like an 8. You know what I mean?
I like that analogy.
Yeah. Kind of sexist, but whatever.
I mean, I'd rather spaghetti and meatballs, but
lamb and tuna fish. But, so without Rodgers, we saw every single blemish, every wart, and it cost us. So, changes had to be made, and they're being made, and they're being made pretty quickly.
True. I said that we put a ball on the Giants and everything, but I forgot. I want to mention Rye. We didn't even say, we talked about Gettleman a lot. We didn't even say that we need a head coach too. That's the next thing on the list.
That's true.
We didn't even, mention it because we were going off and talking about Eli and everything. But quickly, they're starting their interview process tomorrow with Spagnuolo. Obviously, he definitely gets that courtesy interview, and let's see how he does. I don't expect him to get the job. And if he doesn't get the job, does he come back as the D coordinator? We don't know, because whoever they get could bring in their own crew, which didn't happen with McAdoo. When McAdoo got the job, he really didn't have a crew, so there was nobody. So Spags was able to stay there. So it's going to be interesting to see. But Spags gets the interview tomorrow. You got Josh McDaniels, Matt Patricia, Steve Wilkes, Jim Schwartz, who we keep hearing is the front runner, and they just said today that they're gonna interview Pat Shurmur, who's a hot candidate right now for many teams. Rye, we talked about this earlier. There's nobody sexy here. There's nobody that jumps out at you and is like, damn, we need that guy right now. This is the guy that needs to be the head football coach of the Giants in 2018.
No, there is none of that. You're right. There is none of that, Rye. And the one guy that, I don't think Spags is going to get the job. But, they're giving him an interview. Let's see how he does. I got to say, I like his press conferences a lot more than McAdoo. He seems like he actually knows a little bit about football. And he doesn't wear shoulder pads, so that helps.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't have a stupid slick back haircut, and you can't have that in New York. You're not freaking Pat Riley. New Yorkers think
there it is. I was waiting.
They think you're a joke with those freaking shoulder pads and your slick back hair and your sunglasses. The sun ain't out in the press conference, you idiot. Anyway,
still roasting McAdoo.
Yeah, we're still getting him.
You mentioned Pat Shurmur, and the thing with Shurmur is that's how Spagnuolo would stay on the staff.
Good friends.
They're friends. They're boys from the Rams days. So I would not be surprised if if Shermer came on, if Spags stayed under him as the defensive coordinator. But other than that, I don't see Spags really staying.
Yeah. It's true. I mean, out of those guys that they're going to interview, I mean, there's probably going to be a few other stragglers that we don't know of. To be honest with you, I mean, I think first and foremost, we do need an offensive guy. I think we need an offensive guy. I think we need a guy that's very good with quarterbacks. And I really, if a gun to my head, I'm gonna go with McDaniels. I know his tenure in Denver didn't go so well. It was a really weird situation. He had Tim Tebow. It was just a really weird situation for him. I think the second go around could be him, and that seems to be the trend nowadays, is going with the younger coaches. I mean, you look at a team like the Rams and the Bills. They went the younger coaches, both teams in the playoffs. So I like McDaniels. He's coming from a great pedigree of coaching. So if they hired McDaniels, I would really like that. What do you think about McDaniels, dude?
Well, it's not a name that I'm going to be like, no. I'm okay with McDaniels. Like you said, I mean, what's not to like? Maybe he has the same effect on the Giants that Jimmy G has in San Fran. I mean, come on. I mean, just take it. You take these guys from Belichick sometimes, and we all think all of them are going to do well. It doesn't always work out that way. But you know what? This guy's is his second chance now. He's clearly an offensive guy. I don't know. I like it. I think I would like McDaniels.
What about Schwartz?
Oh no.
I was waiting for that.
I don't want to see Schwartz on my sideline, and if I do, I'll be very pissed off. Stay in Philly. Screw you. I can't look at that guy. I just remember those days with the Lions and his like stupid like handshake issues, and that's the stuff that's sticking in my mind. This guy can't shake a hand. I don't want a guy that's bad at a press conference and shoulder pads going to a guy that can't shake freaking hands. I don't want it.
Mike, you like Schwartz, right? Your boy.
Oh, jeez. I don't know. Schwartz might be all right. I don't know if he would. I always said he wasn't a good head coach, and he's a great defensive coordinator. But maybe those Lions teams were just so bad that he never had a shot. I mean, who knows? I don't know. I mean, he was the coach of the 0-16 team, wasn't he? Or was that Caldwell?
No, good question. That was 08, right? Something like that.
Yeah, I forget if it was.
It was that far.
It's been a while. I can't really remember. Well,
it might have been the guy before Schwartz. I don't know who's before.
Regardless, he never coached a good team in Detroit.
Maybe it was Matt Millen.
Oh God, I don't think so.
No, I think it was Schwartz or Caldwell, right? Well, I thought it was 08. It can't be Caldwell. So
I think it was Schwartz. I think it was Schwartz.
All right, somebody look it up. Look it up.
Look it up. I'll keep talking about Schwartz. Well, here, I think here's the thing though. Gettleman to me seems like he values defense more. So I don't know if that is going to influence the decision at all or a lot.
Oh, sorry, Mike. It was Rod Marinelli.
Oh, good God. Another great defensive coordinator.
Wow.
Rod Marinelli.
Where is he now?
He's defensive coordinator of the Cowboys.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
It's just, who knows if Schwartz has that disease, right? Spags kind of had it. And he was rough spot. But the guys that are just really good coordinators, but not head coaches.
Yeah.
Remember
Rex Ryan.
Dick LeBeau tried to be a head coach, failed miserably.
Right.
The best defensive coordinators of all time. Wade Phillips. The list goes on and on and on. So I don't know if Schwartz, I don't know if he fits that bill or he just coached such a shitty team in Detroit. Who knows? But I think you mentioned Nuncy's the front runner. I think it's by a lot right now. So I don't know.
Well, no, it's him and McDaniels right now.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? McDaniels, like you guys said, I think that would be a good fit.
I think
Creative.
so.
Yeah, like you said, the offense hasn't been good in the last couple of years. So you got to like the idea of McDaniel's creativity with guys like Beckham and Ingram and Shepard, some really dynamic weapons on offense. So I think that'd be a good fit.
And you know what? If they get McDaniels, they go and get McDaniels, right? Spags is probably most likely gone because I'm sure Josh McDaniels brings in his own little crew, probably a couple of Patriots positional coaches or something.
Yeah.
So you're looking at Spags gone. And Mike, what about Spags as the defensive coordinator for the Packers?
I'll take him right now.
Right? You would.
Why not?
You got to love his blitz packages. I love his little blitz packages. He does them at the right time too.
He's aggressive, so I want him.
Yeah,
Period.
Pretty interesting. He'll find a job as a defensive coordinator somewhere.
Yeah, I agree.
If not a head coach.
I agree.
So it's going to be interesting. We'll talk more about it in the upcoming pods, Rye. But that's another important decision this organization has to make. This number 2 pick, what they're going to do with it, and this head coach. So it's very important right now. So something Rye, you texted us before, and I know you want to kind of touch on it really quick, was Marvin Lewis.
Hey, Marvin Lewis, man, 2 more years keeping a job as an NFL head football coach. Joke on. That joke is on everybody. Joke's on you, joke's on me, joke's on the Bengals, joke's on the Bengals fans. This guy's been there 15 years. He hasn't won a damn playoff game.
Crazy.
Unbelievable.
Joke's on himself. This guy, what is he doing?
Got
over
shit
there?
on the organization somehow.
Yeah, he does.
Good for him. I think he's a great guy. I really do. I like Marvin Lewis. So you know what? From a personal standpoint, good for you, man. But Cincinnati,
holy
you
cow.
have to win football games to keep a job, right? You have to win.
You'd think so.
And didn't a few weeks ago he say he was going to leave anyway? Everyone thought they were playing his last 2 games.
That's true.
Play for Marvin Lewis, and then they just bring him back for 2 more years. That is the strangest turn of events ever.
I don't know. And listen, Marvin Lewis, he's obviously doing something right. Like you said, he's probably he's got to be a really likable guy for him to keep this job for so long. But from an outsider's perspective, you look at the Bengals at face value. It's a team that can never win a playoff game, and they're always just assholes with no discipline. The amount of penalties they take, dumb penalties at the worst times in big games, one of the reasons why they can't win a playoff game. And the guy has been there since 2003. Think about that. That's a year after we graduated high school.
Crazy.
And we've been out of high school for a long time.
And they've only had a losing record 5 times.
Yeah, listen, he's a good coach, but like you said, I mean, in a results-driven league, I mean, that's sports today anyway. But I mentioned about Capers. I mean, good coaches, successful coaches get fired sometimes. The Bengals haven't won a playoff game since 1991.
Well, this the crazy thing about this thing that I'm thinking is sometimes I'm okay with the philosophy of who else are we gonna get?
Yes.
Is there really anybody else out there that's better? Now that's kind of what the Giants should have done with Coughlin, but Coughlin won with the Giants. He won 2 Super Bowls, so he had some success. Marvin Lewis really hasn't had that.
Yeah.
It's just it's a weird thing.
Do you remember he was the defensive coordinator of the Ravens when they beat us in the Super Bowl?
Yes. Yeah.
Bastard.
That's why he got a head coaching job.
Yeah, I think he went somewhere the next year as a defensive coordinator again, and then he got a job. And then he got the Bengals job. But those years from 2009 to 2015, they missed the playoffs once, okay? And won the division 3 times and 0-7 in the playoffs. I mean, 0-6 in those years, and they were 0-1 in 2005, but he's 0-7 in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
It's just really weird. It's strange. He's got something on this organization, or they just love him. I don't know. They just love him.
They must.
It's interesting.
Well, I
don't
look
know.
at
Very
if he left, right, would he get a job somewhere else this year?
as a head coach,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, and I think they realize that too, because there's like, what is there, 12 openings this year? There could be in the offseason. So I think they thought of this and we're like, you know what, let's just sign him. Let's see what happens. And if we need to, let him go next year, we let him go next year. I don't know. But they saw that.
That's a good point. Maybe they kind of looked at who's out there, and they looked at all the guys and were like, these guys can't be better than Marvin Lewis. I just don't see it. Maybe they did see that. Maybe they kind of looked at the candidates and were like, nope, Marvin Lewis is the best guy for this job. I don't know. Interesting. But I mean, you got to change it up when you can't win a playoff game. I mean, you would think you got to change it up.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's not working. I mean, he's making it there, but you can't get over the hump. Just win one damn playoff game.
Crazy. Since 1991, they haven't won a playoff game.
It's absurd. One thing that I saw today, guys, which was interesting, Carson Palmer retired.
Yes.
I always kind of liked Carson Palmer. I don't know what it was. I always kind of liked him, and he always seemed to get those bad injuries at like bad times.
Oh yeah. Well, speaking of the Bengals, the playoff game against the Steelers, right?
Oh yeah. Was it he tore his ACL?
Yeah. Rolled into him.
Yeah.
And I think wasn't that in the playoff game right in the beginning of the game? I think in 2000.
That was in that must have been in 05.
05, yes. So
right now. And they won that division that year.
Yeah.
11-5.
Palmer's had a really good career.
Mm-hmm.
Just a pure passer of the football, and successful college career, successful pro career. So good for him.
Number
good
one
career.
pick, was he not?
Absolutely. Yep. Heisman Trophy.
Yes, he did win the Heisman Trophy.
Listen, number
good
one
career.
pick. Number one pick the same year Marvin Lewis started as head coach of Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, so they're so Palmer retires and Lewis keeps the same job somehow.
You know what though? You know who's coming back to coaching? Chucky.
Yeah, to the Raiders, of course.
Now, this is something that boggles my mind too. Like, I think Gruden obviously deserves a coaching job somewhere. He's going back to the Raiders. Now, the thing that boggles my mind is what I read, and we don't know yet. This still could come to fruition here, but that he might get part ownership stake in the team if he comes to coach there. Are they kidding me?
You can't do that.
You can't.
Can you do that? Can you actually do that? I guess you can. Do whatever you want.
Whatever you want, but you can't. You can't.
But you can't do that.
And they're going to Vegas.
Going to Vegas.
Yeah, I know. That's why Gruden did it. He's like, "Oh, baby, I'm very."
Oh, hell yeah, he did.
Yeah, I mean, it's smart.
Because Coronas on the strip.
It's those commercials.
He would.
I like Gruden.
Beloved, like the Raiders are huge in Vegas, and they're not even there yet. When I was in Vegas like last month, there was Raiders stuff everywhere.
Yeah, they're getting ready.
Every store, it's all over the place. They just broke ground on the new stadium when I was there. It's going to be awesome. It's like right off the strip. The strip is going to be right there. And Gruden sees this. He could be the greatest coach in the history of Las Vegas. He sees it. And that's part of the sex appeal here. But you can't, as an organization, of any organization, offer a guy part ownership stake. Like, what are they talking? 1%? What are they talking? It doesn't matter. That's ridiculous.
Well, dude, Al Davis's son, what's his name? Mark
Davis, yeah.
He is the biggest fucking weirdo on the planet. So it doesn't surprise me. I mean, this guy gets like, kind of a haircut does he have, first of all? This guy's was like a multi-billionaire. He's got, the same haircut as it's worse than Lloyd Christmas from Dumb and Dumber. It's absurd. It's absurd.
Barber.
He drives like a 1993 minivan. He's banged up, dude. He really, really is. So it's like it's going to be such a weird situation. That guy owning a team in Las Vegas with John Gruden coaching it and partially owning it. This is like bizarro world.
Now, yeah, we'll see if that ends up happening. But
I hope not. That would be stupid.
But he is. I mean, they haven't made it official, but I hear that pretty much everybody in the NFL, they know that Gruden's got that job already.
Yeah. Does Jeff Fisher get a job?
No.
Jeff Fisher. Maybe his mustache does.
Maybe his porn stash alone.
That broom.
Yeah. Bookie night too.
Dirk Diggler.
Does he get a job? That's interesting because
maybe
what is he doing right now?
He's watching 70s porn and just stroking his mustache as he watches.
With his Wranglers.
He's sitting on the
no
couch
shirt on.
No shirt, Wranglers, and suspenders.
Pork rinds just on the lazy boy.
That's interesting. I totally forgot about him.
I was just scrolling through to my Twitter feed, and I just saw a picture of him. And I went, "Oh fuck, Jeff Fisher." Yeah, no shit. I wonder.
Let me answer that question for you with 100% certainty. No.
What about?
Why are you so certain?
Yeah, why certain?
He might get a job as a coordinator. I don't think he's getting a head coach job. It's just the same way that, like you said, the league is going. These guys are going young.
I don't know.
I can't see him getting a job. Maybe in the future, but I don't see it happening this year.
I can't see him being a coordinator either. I think the odds of him being a head coach. I mean, this guy's a head coach. Head coaches, and I don't like Jeff Fisher. Let me preface all this by saying I hate the guy, but he's been a head coach for a long time. Like those guys rarely like come back to be a coordinator, right?
That's true.
Well, but I don't know. Yeah, he may not get hired. How old is he, you said?
No, I was just saying, like, Dick LeBeau. He's like 92.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Dick LeBeau. I mean, all those coaches I said before, they're all kind of young guys. There's nobody that's really that old. I guess Shermer's and Spags are one of the oldest, and they're not even that old, right? Yeah. Yeah, Shermer's probably the older one. He's probably the elder statesman.
But
he's been a head coach, too. He coached the Browns.
Oh my God! But you know what? I think anybody that goes there and coaches for like a year or two, you got to give them a pass.
Oh, you throw that away.
You chuck it.
It doesn't count.
And how about Hugh Jackson? He's still there. They want him back, and he's gone 1-31 in 2 years.
That is some fucking.
It's the worst 2-year stretch ever.
Well, I can't really blame him. I don't
1-30.
That's what I'm saying, but it's funny that he's still there.
1-31.
I'd quit.
One game. They won one game. Just think about
one game
in 2 football seasons.
32 games. 1 game was won.
They lost 31 out of 30.
Lost 31.
Holy shit!
I mean, put that in perspective. That's terrible.
How long did it take Bill Belichick to lose 31 games? Like go back from like this season. Like how long? How many games?
Okay, I'm looking at it right now.
I want to know his record. Well, how many wins goes with Belichick's last
couple? Okay,
might take you a while.
Mike, you got a calculator, or you got your head?
Yeah, I got a pen and paper.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna give you numbers. Ready? 3, 2,
yeah,
4,
yeah,
4,
yeah,
4,
okay,
4, 3, 2. Where are we at that point?
Let's see. 5, 9, 13, 17, 21, 23, 26.
Okay, and here we go. 6.
Hang on one sec. Need a pen that works here.
Well, 6 would give you.
We know the math now, dude. That's 32 losses.
That 6 year was 2009.
That was the
So it took him 8 years to get more than that.
Now, obviously, that's regular season because I mean that's what
Oh,
we're
yeah.
talking about.
well, the Browns aren't winning any playoff games.
Oh my God, man, that's I don't even know. What do you say about that? Oh my God.
Well, I guess. And listen, you know what? I give the Browns a little credit because, listen, the Browns have a lot of issues. We know this, but at least their personnel, I think the players they're putting on the field are getting a little better, a little bit. I mean, they got some guys now who can play a little bit. I don't think Kaiser's going to be a quarterback, but they're slowly building this thing, and you can't just keep changing coaches. You can't do it because that's not going to work. So it's almost like, yeah, it's comical that this guy is going to coach again next year, but I think it's their only hope is to keep a little bit of continuity here with these young players and see if they can slowly turn it around.
You know
it's
what?
not going to happen overnight.
You know, it's funny too. Now we go to the Brown season since 2009. Ready? Losses.
God.
16, 15, 13, 9, 12, 11, 12, 11, 11.
Holy shit. I can't do that math. Hold on.
It's a lot.
I forget.
Okay.
That's crazy that they only lost 9 games that one year.
And they've been in last in the division every year since 2003, but 2 times. It's so bad. Dude, they went in 07, they went 10-6 and didn't make the playoffs.
I added up those losses just now.
What is it?
How many years was that you gave me?
That was since 09.
110 losses.
And the Patriots was 32.
When I heard a crazy stat about the last time they won a game on a Sunday. They haven't won on a Sunday in over 2 years because their win last year was on a Thursday night or something.
Oh my God, that's funny. So it's probably 2015. Because they
Jesus.
won 3 games in 2015.
Yeah.
That
Good.
is magical.
Bananas. That's bananas.
That's really funny. Unbelievable, man.
Browns.
But you know what's funny? Even funnier, that organization, the Browns organization, they're over 500.
Well, yeah, they used to be really good.
Oh, wait, hold on. That's AAFC and NFL regular and postseason results.
Like the Jim Brown days.
Yeah. Right. I mean, when you have somebody like that, I don't know, kind of funny though. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, it is.
All right. So fellas, the playoffs are this weekend, it's exciting. I mean, both our teams are not in, which kind of sucks. Both our teams were in it last year. We actually ended up playing. It went well for you, Mike, didn't for us. So we're outsiders watching some football. We can actually relax and not get all worked up and nervous. And so it's a little refreshing in that sense. We'd love to be there. So I want us to make some picks here. I'll go first since I don't think you guys finished them all. So if you want to kind of jot some things down, but I want to see what we got here. So I'll start in the AFC wild card round. Okay, we got 3rd seed against the 6th seed, the Jags and the Bills. I got the Jags in that game. I just think that defense, and especially McCoy is hurt, and we don't know if he's playing. I can't see the Bills going to Jacksonville and beating them. The Bills don't have a great offense to begin with, and if they have McCoy not playing, that's just an easy win for the Jags. Chiefs and Titans, the 4-5. The Titans are just terrible. I just don't know how. We said this before. I don't even know how they're in the playoffs. They just somehow made it. Can't even pick a part of that team that's been good. And my Chiefs guys, remember I picked them in the beginning. They ended up squeaking by. They won the first 5 games. They were really shitty in the middle, and then they won their last 4. So they won that division. I think the Chiefs win. So in the divisional round, that means the Patriots and the Chiefs. Chiefs have to go to New England. If the Chiefs kept up that pace of the 5-0 and they went 13-3 or something, I would have been more closer on this game, but I can't pick against Brady and Belichick in New England. Just it's hard. So I'm going Patriots. Jags and Steelers are kind of interesting. Didn't the Jags beat the Steelers this year earlier?
Yes.
You guys know? They did, right?
Roethlisberger's a 5-pick game.
Yes. I think it's different. They're in Pittsburgh. This team is ready. They're prime. They're ready to go. It's a veteran team. I think it's going to be a very close game, though. I do, because of that Jags D. That Jags D is legit. They'll get a couple turnovers on Roethlisberger, but I think the Steelers will squeak out a win and win that game. So that sets up a Patriots-Steelers. I know I kind of chalked that whole thing, but I think you can in the AFC. Steelers-Patriots, what a crazy, wacky game that was a couple weeks ago. Steelers probably should have won, but did not. Patriots get lucky again. But I think in the AFC Championship game, Steelers coming to New England again. All roads go through New England. I think the Patriots win again and make another Super Bowl. I think it's going to be close, though, again, because those teams play some epic games. So I got Patriots in the AFC. Do you guys want me to go NFC, or do we want to do all AFC first? What do you think?
Do whatever. Yeah, keep it rolling, Rye. Keep it rolling.
I'll keep it rolling, baby. I'll finish up. All right, NFC. NFC is a little bit more,
Fun.
It was tough. Yeah, it's more fun. It was tougher to pick. I sat here a little bit longer than the AFC. So we got the 3 and 6 Rams, the 3rd seed, which again, I picked them to win the division, not to do as well as they did, but I had them in the playoffs. Rams, Falcons. Falcons started off a little Super Bowl hangover, but they edged in. They got in. They're coming to Los Angeles, which, guys, I don't know if you knew this, but the Rams were the number 1 team in the league in points per game this year.
Yes.
So they had the top offense, which was pretty interesting. They have just a dynamic running back in Gurley who's having a freaking unbelievable year. Falcons have an answer for him. Jared Goff's playing great. I think the Rams they're not going to steamroll them, but I don't think it's going to be as close as you think. Rams are going to win that game. Saints-Panthers is very interesting. It's a divisional game. It's in New Orleans, though. I think that makes a difference. I like the veteran. Cam Newton on the road just makes too many mistakes. He doesn't have enough weapons around him. I think the Saints will win that game. So divisional playoffs, we have this one, but that one, but I think this is going to be a little different. Divisional round, we have the 2-3 Vikings-Rams, which is an interesting one. They played this year. Vikings won the last one. I think they win again. This Vikings defense has become the number 1 defense in the league, not in terms of takeaways, but overall defense. They're very good on all facets of the game defensively, and their offense has been great this year. Case Keenum, what a freaking revelation this year. So, I mean, and their 1-2 punch of Lat Murray McKinnon has been very good. It's really been a good combo since Cook went out early in the season. I just like the Vikings, man. I don't know what it is. I think playing at home, it's probably going to be cold as balls there, but they have that roof. Don't they have the roof now?
Yeah, they're indoors now.
Yeah.
They're indoors.
Well, it's kind of open, but
but at this juncture, there's probably going to be closed.
They'll be out of the elements.
Right. So I just think it's a special year for this team. It's going to be a really good game, though. I'm pretty excited if that game comes to fruition. I hope it does. I think the Vikes squeak by. Then we have the 1-4, the Eagles-Saints. Hate the Eagles. I really do, but they did have a great season. But they did lose their franchise quarterback for the year. Foles is a very capable backup. I really will say that. And their defense has been great behind your boy, Mike, Jimmy Schwartz. But I think the Saints can win this game, and I think they will. I think they're going to go to Philly and win that game. That's going to be cold as balls. And I don't know. I like that rushing attack, man. You cannot nobody can stop Alvin Kamara. You can't. You can't stop him. He does so many things out of the backfield, and he does them well. He does them above average, and for a rookie, it's amazing. And then you got the bruiser and Ingram on the goal line. I like the Saints there. So NFC Championship, the Saints traveling to Minnesota to play the Vikings. And I think this game is going to be quite close. And I wanted to get creative on my pick here, so I went the Saints. I just liked I like Breeze over Case Keenum there. I just like the veteran. I like a guy that's won before the Super Bowl, so I'm going Saints. So I got Saints Patriots in the Super Bowl. I kind of teased you. Maybe you thought I was going Vikings, going to get a home Super Bowl. Not going to happen. It's going to be Patriots Saints. And unfortunately, guys, hate to say it, but I'm being real.
Come on.
Patriots are going to win.
Of course they are.
Be back-to-back, and I'm going to hate it every minute of it.
Of course they are.
So that's my picks, guys. Who wants to go next?
I think I do. Yeah. Go, Stan. Go, Stan. I got to finish up.
I'll go really quick.
Take your time. No, take your time.
You don't have to go really quick.
All right. Tennessee, KC, and Buffalo, Jacksonville. One of those games is going to be an upset. And I'm going Buffalo, Jacksonville. I don't trust the Blake Bortles. I love the tweets, but I'm going to go Buffalo.
The tweets.
Like I said, the Blake Bortles.
Yeah, the Blake Bortles.
The Bortles.
I'm going Buffalo Bills for no other reason than I do not trust Bortles. And I just think that Buffalo's defense is good enough to keep them in the game. And I think it actually depends on if McCoy plays, but I'm going to say McCoy's going to play because I think he can. The one thing you could do to Jacksonville is run on them. And I like Buffalo in this game, especially if I was getting the 9 points. Just so you know, all right. But I'll go Buffalo that game. Tennessee, KC. Tennessee sucks. KC is coached by Andy Reid. This game could really go either way. So if I was taking the game betting wise, I'd take Tennessee getting 9, but I'm going KC. All right. And then the Pats come into KC and rip Pats win that game at home against KC. Pittsburgh beats whoever they're. Buffalo, Pats.
No, Bills would play the Patriots, bud.
Oh, well, either way. Pats, Pittsburgh, next round, that's what's happening, no matter who they play. And then the Pats win that one out, okay? On the other end of the spectrum, we got Atlanta at the Rams. That game could go either way, but I'm going Rams. And then it's the Carolina at New Orleans. That game could go either way as well. I don't like either of those teams that much. I don't like any team in this whole conference that much. So I'm just going to say, like you said, Saints at home, I'm going Saints. And then if the Saints are playing the Eagles, I'm going the Saints. And then if I say the Rams are playing the Vikings, I'm going the Rams. And then if I have the Rams playing the Saints, I'm going the Rams. And then it's the Patriots over the Rams in the final, and I'm Chris Berman all of a sudden, and that's what's happening.
back on.
All right, slow it down a little bit, Mike. My head's spinning.
Okay.
I liked it, though, Rye. I like it.
Okay. Everyone, unbuckle the seatbelts. Recline the seat. We'll go a little John Sterling here. No, I won't do John Sterling. Okay, we'll start with this Buffalo-Jacksonville game. I agree with Stanley, and I don't trust Blake Bortles. I don't think anyone can. But a couple little stats for you. Blake Bortles is undefeated in 2018. He hasn't thrown an incomplete pass or an interception in 2018. I mean, how good is that?
Excellent.
Thanks to the Blake Bortles fact for that one. And yeah, McCoy, if he plays, will be a little banged up. I think Jacksonville's defense just is too good for Buffalo's kind of vanilla offense. I don't think Bortles will have to do much, thank goodness. I don't see Tyrod Taylor just beating this defense in Jacksonville. So close game. Jacksonville can blow nobody out, but give me Jacksonville. And I'm with Stanley. I like one. I think there will be an upset. And you know what? I think the Titans are going to beat the Chiefs for no other reason than it makes zero sense. It's Mariota in a very hostile environment, but I just think I'll lean on the Andy Reid factor. Alex Smith just laying an egg. I think Kansas City. I like Kansas City to lose more than Tennessee to win, but I think Tennessee can keep it close if they can run the ball. I think they will. They will. And I just think the longer that game goes, staying tight, I like the underdog there. So Tennessee, I think, knocks off Kansas City. So that would send Jacksonville to Pittsburgh. And Nuns, you mentioned it, that is an interesting matchup. But I think you'll see Bortles, do some Bortles things. I think the Steelers will learn a lot from that first meeting. Ben will play well at home playoffs. So yeah, it's going to get chalky in the AFC, you know that. So Pittsburgh over Jacksonville, and then Tennessee going to New England. Yeah. So AFC Championship game, Pittsburgh, New England. I said this all year long. It was just so important where that game would be. So it's at Gillette. So Patriots by a touchdown. So the Patriots will be in the Super Bowl yet again, and they will face, we'll see, first, Atlanta at the Rams. Todd Gurley, too good. Aaron Donald, too good. I think those two guys are going to have a coming out party at home. Not enough from Matty Ice and the boys. So the Rams hold court at home. Carolina at New Orleans. Nuns, everything you said I agree with to a T. You love the Saints at home. You love Alvin Kamara. You love Mark Ingram. You love Drew Brees, and you don't trust Cam Newton on the road in a big spot. So the Saints at home. I think the Saints could blow the Panthers out, to be honest with you. So that would send the Saints to the Eagles, and Nunzi, you beautiful bastard, the Saints will beat the Eagles. Because again, we mentioned this weeks ago. The Saints all of a sudden are built for cold playoff football. The way they run the ball, the way they play a little defense now. Against Foles, Foles against Breeze, And yeah, the Eagles' defense has been very good, but you see some chinks in the armor there. And I think the Saints could easily beat the Eagles in Philly. I think Philly obviously wounded with no Wentz, and I think their hopeful season ends at the hands of Drew Brees. They get the Rams going to Minnesota, and I just think too much Todd Gurley, too much Aaron Donald. And I think the Rams can upset the Vikings in Minnesota. So that would be the NFC Championship game at the Coliseum. Saints at Rams. And this is the tough one for me. Because, I think Drew Brees, I could see him in the Super Bowl. I really could. I could see that team in the Super Bowl, but I think the Rams are gonna go. I just think it's too much Todd Gurley and too much Aaron Donald. Stop me if you've heard this one before, but I think those two young guys are going to have an absolute just coming out wrecking party this whole postseason. And you throw in guys like Woods and Kupp and Goff playing well enough. And that kind of rhymed. So, yeah, Rams, Patriots, Super Bowl. And you know what? Of course, the Patriots, you know what? I'm just going to say the Rams just to be fun and daring, and why the hell not? Because you know what? Too much Todd Gurley, too much Aaron Donald. I can just see Aaron Donald just flattening Brady 2 or 3 times, much like Jay Alford at the end of the Super Bowl.
Oh,
Brady's calling the timeout before he's landing on his back. I can just see it. I could see it.
Chills. Just got chills when you said that.
There you go. You're welcome. So, you know what? Fuck it. Rams, Super Bowl champs.
Wow.
You know what? Payback for years ago when the Patriots were the big underdog against the Rams.
Yeah.
Best show on earth.
Yeah.
Now, the Rams are the young upstart, big underdog, and they will upset your Patriots.
Let me tell you one thing that can play a big difference for the Rams in this playoffs. And you may not think of it.
Okay.
No Greg the Leg.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't even know who's Thicken, I guess his name is.
Yeah, kid missed a short field goal. He missed an extra point.
That could pay dividends in the playoffs because you know how huge a kicker is.
Absolutely.
Greg the Leg is the best kicker, I think, in the league.
That's a great point. He's going to have at least one or two big kicks that he's going to have to make.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a good point. We'll see.
Here's a fun question, too, for both you guys.
So much fun.
If the Eagles have Wentz, do the Saints beat the Eagles?
No,
I think the kid
I'm
is
with
that
you, too.
Yeah, I think Wentz is that good. I think,
yeah.
And just the way the team feeds off his energy and the leadership. To quote Bill Walton,
that was good. That was good.
Yeah, he's that big of a difference maker, I think, for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I thought all of us would be on the same page on that. All right, well, you know what? Let's see what happens. I can't wait till I'm 100%. So imagine that. Imagine one of us was 100%.
You started this Ram madness when you said they'd make the playoffs, and now I'll take it from here and say they're going to win the fucking.
I like
Super Bowl.
it because I like that team. I like watching them too.
Well, that's the team. That's the team I'm rooting for this year.
And hey, Nuns, you mentioned the number one offense in the league this year. They were last year.
That's awesome.
In 1 year.
That's awesome.
With like the same guys.
It's pretty much the same offense, dude, but they did beef up that offensive line. That made the difference right there, guys.
Yeah.
And the coaching.
Yep, and the coaching. Yep. That's it.
Unbelievable. Very nice.
Giants? Are you listening, Giants? Offensive line and coaching. Yeah. You listening?
I know. Before we head out, guys, there was a really I don't want to talk about the college playoff yesterday. I don't. I'm just not going to talk about it.
Okay, don't.
Because it was rough. But I will say Sooners, great season again. Way to come up short once again. But anyway, there was a cool hockey game yesterday. The Rangers and Sabres in Citi Field, Rye, our favorite place in the world.
Yeah, great.
We wish. But I'll tell you, I watched that whole game. I laid on my couch and still been off. Fun watch, and it was just they made a little city on the outskirts of the rink.
Yeah, the taxi
cabs and roads and ruads. Rouds. It was really, really cool. And it was freezing cold there. It just made for a great winter classic. And the game was very good, very well played, good pace. The Rangers came out and played well they took over that first period. Then the Sabres took over the second period, and then it was back and forth in the third period. And then the Rangers ended up winning in overtime, getting on the power play. So it was awesome. Great finish, and great hearing Doc Emmerich too. Love that guy. One of my favorite announcers of all time in all sports. He makes me excited. I don't know about you guys. He just excites me.
I wish Emmerich could just narrate my life as I walked around. Just hear his voice.
And Mike picks out the ramen noodles on aisle 7.
Oh, rings it off the pipe.
He is great. What did you think of the game, Mike? I thought it was excellent.
Oh, it was awesome. Aside, from my sick 10-month-old daughter blowing snot all over me the whole game. I got to lay there and watch it. Yeah, listen, the outdoor games are so much fun. The only thing that would have added to the atmosphere would have been some snow flurries. It was freezing cold. Love the coaches with the varsity jackets with those leather sleeves, standing behind the bench during these outdoor games.
Mike, I'm getting my varsity jacket, so once I get it, you got to get it.
Love it. Love those things. And yeah, it was still a big 2 points to get. And yeah, they jumped out quicker. They played so great in the first 10 minutes. Of course, it's the NHL, so the Sabres had their little run. They had their pushback. And then, a great job by Miller in overtime on that power play. Just a simple play, got in front of the net, screen, juicy rebound, and he banged it home on the backhand. So yeah, Hank undefeated outside. I wish we could play every game outdoors, to be honest.
No, he looked good too.
Oh, of course, yeah, and so did Leonard. I think they both played well in a tough. It's got to be such a tough game for goalies. They mentioned it during the game, but you have the shadows when the sun's still out early in the game.
Glare.
The depth perception has to be weird because there's no fans right behind the glass, like a NHL arena. You know, it's you have you're going like hundreds of feet in some areas before you get that normal kind of depth with the fans. So, good job by the goalies. Yeah, fun watch and big win.
Did you watch, Ryan?
Yeah, I watched. I didn't get to watch the whole game, but I watched a little bit. Love the outdoor stuff. Would love to have seen Flurries. Would love to have seen Henrik Lundqvist's the pads he was supposed to wear that the announcers were talking about early, and then he wasn't wearing them. He was just wearing the normal.
Psych.
Yeah. What was that?
It had like the baseball on it, and I thought it was so cool, and I was ready for it. But yeah, great game, good win. Rangers, it's funny how far they've come after us wanting to fire Vigneault like right out of the gate this year.
Yeah, since he was pretty much a dead man walking. I remember it was that Vegas game. Yep. A lot of people were talking like this could actually be it if they lay an egg tonight, and they were down early and they came back and won that game. And since then, they've saved his ass and they played very well.
Yeah, it was they're playing really well. They're locked into a spot as of now. And, they just got to continue. Just keep winning. They've been playing a lot of overtime shootout games, which gets annoying, but I love the new overtime. I think it's so much fun.
It is. And it like, especially in a setting like yesterday, it's because at 3-on-3, it's kind of like pond hockey, and you throw a game outdoors, it's literally pond hockey. So it was a fun kind of feel. But yeah, indoors, outdoors, that new overtime, it's wild. It really is. I mean, you just get the kind of meandering and the man-on-man defense, and just one little mistake and you have a primo scoring chance, and it can go back and forth for the whole 5 minutes, and it's a lot of fun. It really is.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. They just got to keep winning, keep doing what they do every year. I hope everything goes okay with Kreider. Blood clots in his arm.
Yeah.
It's a little crazy. Not the thing you want to hear.
No.
So if he's out indefinitely, so we don't know. That's what that means. We don't know basically when he's going to be back. He could be back in 2 weeks. He could be back in 2 months. Who the heck knows? So we'll just wait to hear the story on him. Any last words, fellas, before we wrap this thing up?
I know. I hope everyone had a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and get ready for some playoff football and see who can make some noise here.
I am excited to see how it's going to play out. Yeah.
Should be fun. I'm glad to be back with you boys. It's a fun night. We'll be back soon. We'll get on our regular schedule when we can. And Mike, we got to do FanDuel Funny Faces next pod.
Absolutely.
I'm itching.
I love the FanDuel Funny Faces. One more thing. I do have one thing to say about this weekend's football games. I don't think I've ever seen a first-round playoffs in football with the Vegas lines where every game is over 6.
Really?
We have Tennessee, Kansas City. Tennessee's getting 9. Atlanta's getting 6.5. Buffalo's getting 9, and Carolina's getting 6.5. That's really high. Like, what happened?
Jacksonville's laying 9 points.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I love all four dogs in the money lines.
Yeah.
Not the money lines. I'm sorry.
Not the money. Yeah, you bet the spread. Yeah, parlay them.
I parlay all 4 or tease all 4. You get 13 points.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah. Gotta love that. Let's do it.
But that's all I got to say.
Very, very interesting point. Very interesting point. Yep, we'll be back soon, guys. Just enjoy a nice weekend of playoff football. We'll see you. We'll probably see you before that. Hopefully, we'll give you some FanDuel funny faces, maybe even some FanDuel picks too. It's a big weekend of FanDuel, less games, which I kind of like. So, we'll be back. Enjoy your night. Enjoy the next couple of days. And thanks for tuning in.